Hi, this is Sherry Veronica. At any moment, at any time that you care to, you can actually buy a ticket to go to any museum in any part of the world. New York City has a whole lot of them, and you can see the remnants of time past, pottery. You can see drawings of cave people on the walls. You can read the history. They have it on a 6x6 kind of paper, and it's stuck right there. You can go up close and you can read about what you're seeing there. It's stuck on the wall, and you can see drawings of people who lived way back when. And when I saw this photo, this is the year 2025. We are in the 21st century. And when I saw this photo, it took me back in time. This photo took me back in time. And then when I saw this photo, I thought about places that had a whole lot of slavery. And after a while, the people who owned those particular islands, or the ruling party, they would invite other people with lighter complexions in, and they would like stare you. It's always you're stared in certain directions because they want people to mix and match and to lessen the whatever you want to call it. You soften the image. A lot of people did that in Brazil, for example. There were a whole lot of dark-skinned slaves in Brazil, and the government made sure that they invited lighter-skinned people to mix, so that in time, as time rolled on, that people would take on a different look. Okay, you will look different. And I feel that if you growing up and you have a mirror on the wall, and you look in that mirror on the wall and you see certain traits, you're seeing yourself. I think before you allow someone to climb on you, you should think about, I look this way, he looks that way. What if something sticks? What is it going to come up looking like? You should think about what your kids are going to look like when you get down and dirty. You need to be thinking about what your children are going to look like. You need to be more cognizant of beauty. You need to be more cognizant of lessening the gaze. Because for some reason, I looked at this photo a little bit more than I should, because it took me back in time. It just took me back in time. This is Beverley Smith, Ruthley Williams, mother and daughter. They're both charged with having a whole lot of illegal stuff, $750,000 billion. Smith, the mother, is 63, Beverley Cassandra Smith. They say that black don't crack. That's what they say. But even in not cracking, she looks old for her age. Okay, she was old for her age. Okay, and then there's Ruthley, and she is 27. So she had her when she was pretty old. She had her when she was pretty old. Okay, kind of oldie-ish, So they are both out of Crystal Crescent, Kingsland Terrace. That's in Christ Church. And they were accused and charged with possession, trafficking, intent to supply, and everything, even the big C, having the big C, okay? And the drugs were found at their home. That's something that you do. It's just something you don't do. That's just something you do not do. You wouldn't leave it there to be found there, okay? So they're scheduled to appear before Magistrate Deidre McKenna today. So we'll find out if they're going to be gracing the hotel in St. Philip, with their beauty, or if they'll get bail and go back to their Kingsland Terrace home. And, the story will go on. For Ruthley, I don't know if she has any children, but let's say perchance she were to hear me when I say what I say. Just Ruthley, pick someone who's handsome, pick someone, so that you can, mix it up a little bit and have a better result, okay? But yeah, these two were charged. They're in a holding cell right now, okay? They're not home. They are waiting in a cell, and they're going to, the magistrate will decide. It's the Oistins, right? Oistins Magistrates Court. She will decide, Deidre McKenna will decide where they're going to be, because with this amount of illegal stuff at their home, I think the bill will be really high, and they're going to have to come up with someone who would have that sort of, not only money, but a house and whatever to put on the line for them. We shall see. That's it for these two. Beverley Smith, Ruthley Williams, charged for illegal possession. This is Sherry Veronica.
Help me spread the word about Naked Departure via social media. Subscribe and share to show support and love for our channels.